we have limit x tends to 0, greatest integer function of sine of again greatest integer function of x minus 3 by greatest integer function of x minus 3. Basically, we have three greatest integer functions here. This one, and this one. Right. And this is x minus 3. Okay. So, let us try to draw the graph for this function or understand how this graph of this function will behave. And then we will see whether the graph right side of 0 and left side of the 0, how does it look like? Okay. Now, we have greatest integer function of x. What is greatest integer function of x? When x is between 0 and 1, greatest integer function of x is 0. Between 1 and 2, it is 1. Between 2 and 3, it is 2. Basically, it's a step function. Right. It's a step function. Now, how does greatest integer function of x minus 3? If f of x is greatest integer function of x, then f of x minus 3 is 3 units shifted rightwards. Right, f of x minus 3 is 3 units shifted rightwards of this graph. Okay, so how does greatest integer function of will look like? For example, it is between 0 and 1, it is 0. Between 1 to 2, it is 1. Between 2 to 3, it is 2, like this. We know this function, right? It is like this. Now, this function is shifted 3 units rightwards. Greatest integer function of x minus 3. Then how does it look like? This will shifted 3 units rightwards. Right. So then it will look like this. These points, right? That is this graph. Okay. That is this graph. Now, we want to see at x equal to 0, when x is tending to 0, how does this look? Okay, when x is tending to 0, right, was see, when x is tending to 0, it's tending from left hand side, it is minus 4. If it is tending from right hand side, it is minus 3. Right. So, for example, x is tending to 0. What does that mean? 0.5. Let's say x is 0.5, 0.5 minus 3, which is minus 2.5. Greatest function of this is minus 3. That is this one. When it is tending from right hand side. When it is tending from left hand side, minus 0.5 minus 3, which is minus 3.5. Greatest function of this is minus 4. That is this one. Okay. So when it is tending from the right hand side, it is minus 3. When it is tending from the left hand side, it is minus 4. Okay. Very good. So we have two functions here. Sine of minus 3 by minus 3. And it is tending from the right hand side. And it is tending from the left hand side. Sine of minus 4 by minus 4. Okay. Now, again, both of this greatest integer function. We are looking for this. Right. Sine of minus 3. Right. Sorry, this is sine of minus 3. Sine of minus 3, because greatest integer function of x minus 3 when x is tending from the right hand side is minus 3. Sine of minus 3 by minus 3 is minus sine 3 by minus 3. So this minus and this minus will get cancelled. Similarly, sine minus theta is minus sine theta. This minus and this minus will get cancelled. Basically, we have when it is tending from the right hand side, it is sine 3 by 3. When it is tending from x is approaching 0 from the left hand side, this equation is this. When it is approaching from the right hand side, this equation is this. Now, what is sine 3? We know our sine graph. Sine 3 is slightly lesser than 1 pi. Right. 1 pi is 3.14. Pi by 2 is 1.57. And 3 pi by 2, 2 pi likewise. Right. 2 pi is 2.2 times 3.1, 6.2. Right. This is 6.2. This is 2 pi. Okay. Now, sine 3. Sine 3 means it is slightly lesser than pi. That means it is a slightly positive. Sine 3 is roughly some 0.1 or something. 0.1 by 3. This one. Right. 0.1 by 3. So obviously, what is this? This greatest integer function. This is still a decimal lesser than 1. So this should be equal to 0. Now, what about this sine 4? Where is sine 4? Sine 4 is somewhere here. Okay. Sine 4 is somewhere here, which is between pi and 3 pi by 2. Right. What is this? This is something minus. Lesser than something between 0 and minus 1, right? Lesser than 0, something between 0 and minus 1. And this by 4 again will be something between 0 and minus 1. Sine 4 by 4 would be somewhere here. Sine 4 is somewhere here, which is a negative number. Sine 4 by 4 also, which will be somewhere between 0 and minus 1. Okay, so this is actually a negative number, negative 0 point something. So greatest integer function of this is actually equal to minus 1. Right. One side you are approaching, when you are approaching from the right hand side, we are getting what? We are getting 0. When you are approaching from the right hand side, we are getting 0. When we are approaching from the left hand side, that is when we are getting sine 4 by 4, which is equal to minus 1. Right. Sine 4 by 4. This is sine 4 is negative, and that's why this sine 4 by 4 will become minus 1. The sine will always range between plus 1 and minus 1. Anyway, sine 4 we have realized, because 4 is lying between pi and 3 pi by 2. Right. 3 pi by 2 is what? 4.7. Right. So this is minus 1 by 4. Sorry, this is minus something by 4. So minus 0 point something. So this is this greatest integer function of this is equal to minus 1. On the right hand side it is 0. One side it is 0, right hand side. On the left hand side it is minus 1. So both are not matching. So limit does not exist. What do you mean? When limit exists, what does that mean? At that particular point, the function might not be defined. But when you are approaching from the left or from the right, we should get as close to that particular point as we want. Let's say if the limit is 0.5, then we should get as close as we want from the left hand side or right hand side. For example, we should reach for 0.49, 0.4999, whatever. Right. However close we want, we should be able to reach. That is the limit. Here, there is no way we are reaching a common point. One side we are approaching 0, another side we are approaching minus 1. So limit does not exist. Right, guys? Thank you.